it seems like everybody on the internet has made a hobby out of being outraged about things, yeah, that's because the lizard people that run social media want you to feel that way. Hey y'all, SnarkyJay cosplay here. I was kidding about the lizard people. What I wasn't kidding about, however, is the fact that right now when it comes to social media and a number of other things on the internet, we currently are existing in what I'd like to call a rage economy. Before I get any further into this video, no, this is not a new tattoo. This is a henna I got while on vacation, and despite the fact that this henna was done by a 30-something-year-old woman, it looks no better than if a crayon had been given to a 6-year-old, and now I have to live with it for the next 3 weeks. Vacation Jay makes some questionable decisions. Anyway, when it comes to the rage economy, it's driven by the fact that social media believes in engagement at any and all costs. Platforms like Instagram, YouTube, whatever, they run off of engagement. That's how they make their money. That's how they decide what gets views. And when it comes to engagement, there's no better thing to engage people than that is controversial and aggravating to the general public. Things that outrage people usually bring about comments, shares, duets, retweets, whatever you want to call it, instead of people just scrolling past, I don't know, more measured, sensible takes on things. Algorithms don't care if it's love or hate, they just care about interaction. And it kind of took me a little bit to think about this because every time somebody makes a stupid comment on one of my videos, I wonder like, yeah, well, if you can't stand me so much, why'd you watch me? Why'd you click on me if you knew you were going to disagree with me? And even though I don't engage with the things that disagree with me and I'm not a video-oriented person, 90% of the time that I scroll through Twitter, I come across a take that I find absolutely deranged and brain dead, and I rarely ever scroll past it. I have to click on it just to see what people in the comments were saying, just to see what the hell this person was on. Like, there's a whole other level of research and interaction for me as a user that goes into seeing some shit that I really disagree with or find aggravating, as opposed to like, oh yeah, that's nice, I'm just gonna scroll past it, I might not even like it. And so the internet basically figured out it's actually way easier to make you angry than it is to make you happy, and it pays a lot better for them to piss you off than to keep you joyfully scrolling. So when it comes to the rage economy, part of it, and I plan on delving a lot deeper into this in a different video, but part of it is the fact that we now hate other people's opinions. Like, there's no such thing as a civilized discussion or even being maybe intrigued by somebody else's alternative opinion. Opinions at one point used to be conversation starters, and now they're basically weapons. If you look at fandoms like Star Wars, like Marvel, like DC, anything that's really big right now, basically conversations between like and dislike turn into war zones as opposed to like civilized discussion. And I think it's definitely gotten worse over the past like 5 or 6 years. I don't know if the pandemic pissed people off, but I basically started my channel right after the pandemic, and I saw firsthand how things devolved from like, yeah, I like this character, yeah, I like this movie, I don't like this thing, I hate this other thing. It went from, well, that's your opinion, let's agree to disagree, let bygones be bygones, you don't seem like a person I'd like to be friends with, and turned all the way into like, your mom's a whore, you, you're fat, you stink, get deported. I see stuff like that all the time, and I actually get comments like that pretty consistently, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there that I was born in this country, so regardless of my opinions on James Gunn's new Superman, nobody is sending me back to Cuba because I've never been there. Anyways, it was a few years back when I noticed that opinions stopped being like fun conversation pieces and they just turned more into like outright battles between people that have no reason not to like each other. It's rampant in fandoms like Marvel and Star Wars, and I see it constantly because the Reddit people that dislike me continuously watch my videos just so that they can build a whole forum on Reddit and complain about me, which sounds like a really terrible use of their time, but they're gonna keep doing it anyway, so God bless them. It gets to the point where 90% of the time when I make a video, I literally just want somewhere to put my opinion, and a lot of the times I have to ask myself, is it even worth it, just because I don't want to deal with the bullshit. And like I said, the algorithms thrive on awful. On social media platforms like Twitter, now known as X, some of the worst takes are the ones that get the most interaction. And yes, okay, a bad take is always going to be relative, but at the end of the day, there are some people that you can tell, yeah, this is definitely what they believe, this is their opinion, and other people that are basically just bad actors that are going to make the worst, most offensive posts they can just to drive engagement and make money based off of your outrage and misuse of your own time. Think about rage bait headlines, bad faith clips, purposely controversial tweets. A few months back, there was a ton of controversy when it came to Sydney Sweeney because somebody posted these photos which were taken without her consent of her in a bikini, and one guy decided to take it upon himself to comment how she had let herself go and she was disgusting, and it basically just spurred an onslaught of horrible comments and posts about women like this because women were getting pissed off, and they basically just did it to stir up a war on Twitter for no reason. And there were so many people willing to take the bait because of how aggravating it was, and then it just becomes a vicious cycle, baby. And unfortunately, whether or not you're making a purposely bad take, when it comes to being a creator on places like Twitter, on TikTok, on YouTube, people tend to see that negative takes and negativity in general tends to drive up viewership. Looking at my own channel, I have made videos where I've been really passionate about what I'm talking about, and I've really given the same level of analysis, and I've even inserted the same sense of humor that's prevalent in a lot of my videos. And if the video happens to be a positive one, the engagement and reaction is basically in the f***ing toilet. But the minute the thumbnail is some obnoxious like ugh face, or I'm bitching about something, or the video seems overwhelmingly negative, it's gonna do a lot better. People ask me why I do the reading mean comments videos, because people like controversy. If I did one reading nice comments, which I have literal pages of comments saved on my phone that I've read that I'm like, wow, this is such an honor, what a kind thing to say. And I know if I sat here and read them, nobody would watch because it would be boring. And it sucks because in my opinion, the state of Hollywood, which is mostly what I talk about on this channel, a lot of the movies and that I see, I really do think sucks. So my opinions are my own, but when I have a positive one to give, like how I actually thought Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four were pretty solid movies, there's this hesitation because you're gonna spend a few hours making a positive review that you know nobody's gonna click. Pretty much if it makes you roll your eyes, it'll probably get a couple 100,000 views. And that, babies and gentlemen, leads into the collapse of nuance. There is no acceptable middle ground when it comes to discussions about anything these days. If you walk the line, if you're on the middle of the fence, if you walk that middle ground, that is absolutely a problem. You need to either be all f***ing in or all f***ing out. That is all anybody wants to interact with. There is no such thing as a centrist anymore, which unfortunately really sucks because I consider myself a militant centrist, so it sucks to constantly be split in one direction or the other. Clickbait rewards extremes. It loves words either like masterpiece or absolute garbage. They don't want to hear this movie was just okay. They want you to feel like either this movie is the second coming of Christ, it cured your depression, or this movie pissed in your cereal and was in bed with your mom last night. And this literally just creates echo chambers and makes online discourse even worse. And I'm not even gonna get to how dangerous echo chambers are in the grand scheme of things, because when we talk about political echo chambers, ideological echo chambers, that kind of stuff can get really risky. But as far as fandoms are concerned, it very much turns into like, everybody agrees with me. Everybody agrees with this guy. And this one guy, that's the outlier. He is absolutely insane. Nobody has ever said this in their lives, because of the fact that you're only ever seeing one point of view. And it sucks because it's basically turned fandoms into battle arenas. Every new release turns into an instant war online. I mean, you consider when Superman and the Fantastic Four came out, it had literally already divided fans and started fights before the movies even came out. It's honestly really, really sucked going from somebody who was very much in these fandom spaces and enjoyed being in them to somebody who now is like a commentator, but I very much just stand on the outside of them. I kind of just like pull the pin on the grenade, drop a video, and then run away because I'm like, I just don't want to get involved. I don't want the controversy. I don't want to talk about it. Like, it is what it is. I have an opinion, and you give that opinion, and like, yeah, some people are gonna have a measured way of talking to you, but even if I have an opinion that some people disagree with, it's never like, you know what, Jay, I disagree. It's usually like, you ignorance. How dare you question the sanctity? I don't want to hear it. I don't want to deal with it. Opinions just can't be like shared anymore. They're basically ammunition. And so the point that I'm making here is that we hate each other's opinions, not just because a lot of us are internally frustrated and looking for ways to take things out on other people we don't know, but the fact of the matter is that the algorithms profit from our outrage, and so they seek to drive it. Even though these social media platforms are social sharing platforms, they care way less about the sharing and about showing you things that you like than they do keeping you on the platform, keeping you engaged, and driving engagement constantly. And if their only and best way to drive engagement is by aggravating you to the point where you can't click out without typing a strongly worded letter, that's exactly what they're gonna do. So in a way, it kind of turns out like maybe Disney wasn't the real villain after all. Maybe it was just social media. No, Disney is definitely a villain, but we also have like another antagonist in the form of social media. But you know what? Speaking as a commentator who frequently has takes that are called bad or hot, whatever you want to call them, at the end of the day, I think that as human beings, if we just do a little bit of introspection, which I realize like 90% of the people watching this are just gonna click out the minute I say we should self-reflect, but we should. And we should find it in ourselves to foster healthier discussions with one another, because at the end of the day, in the grand scheme of things, saying I like this movie, I don't like this movie, I like this character, I don't like this character, people just have different tastes, and I think 100% we should be able to have these intelligent discussions, to have these productive conversations where we share different opinions, and maybe we don't love everybody we talk to, but we can just walk away from them as human beings that haven't insulted each other. The internet basically became the perfect place for a lot of people to work out their anger from their daily lives, and I used to take it personally, but at the end of the day, I've kind of realized that this is exactly what social media wants, and the best thing we can do is just try to be a little better people. Or you know what, at the end of the day, at least if you're gonna write an insult, spell it correctly. That's the best thing you could do, is learn to spell. That's all from me. I've been SnarkyJay. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. For more SnarkyJay, be sure to check me out on Instagram. And if you'd like to support me, this channel, and my content creation, do check out and consider subscribing to my Patreon for exclusive photoshoot sets and cosplay content. I'll add links to all of those in the description below. And let me know which social media platform you think is the most toxic for hot takes in the comments below.